You know, in the Hamptons, everyone always talks about the 3 L's. Well, you know what? I'm going to put another L on that. It's going to be about location, 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 the legal. So everyone seems to be talking about how the market's heating up. What are you experiencing?
Incredibly busy, but what I have to say is that the off-season is just as busy as we're experiencing now. I've seen in the over a decade that I've been out here a real growth in the off-season. I think people maybe figure they can get deals in the off-season, so there's a consistency in my work. I mean, this last December we were as busy as ever.
You've been out here in the Hamptons as an attorney for about 10 years now. Are you finding deals becoming easier or more complicated?
It depends on the players involved in the deal, and I think part of what we do as local attorneys is really try to counsel people that aren't familiar with the East End practice and make the deals go smoothly. But sometimes you have some cog in the wheel that makes I think deals more challenging. But I don't think you can say that they're generally more difficult. There's always some wrinkle. I love when people come to me and say, simple real estate deal. Kiss of death. Kiss of death. No such thing.
So many of our buyers here on the East End come from the city. What are the major differences between buying in the city versus buying out here in the Hamptons?
Oh, completely different. I mean, I had a former life as a large firm in Manhattan, and the legal work can be much more complicated in the city when you're dealing on the commercial venue. When you're dealing with residential real estate in the city, it's quite easy, because you're buying a piece of air in the sky that doesn't have the regulations really that are the nuts and bolts of the transactions we deal with here. Zoning issues, permitting issues, clearing issues, the list goes on and on. Buried oil tanks, work that was done without the benefit of a permit. All of these things come into play out here. In the city, it's really quite easy to transact a piece of air in the sky. So,
how long does it typically take for a deal to go from offer acceptance, contract signed, to finally closing?
Again, each one is unique based on the players involved. I think that I like to get this tennis ball going as quick as possible, because there's some back and forth that needs to happen, and start with the due diligence as quickly as we get a memorandum of sale from the brokers. But I would say anywhere from, ideally, a week would be a great goal when an offer and acceptance is given, and when the brokers give me and the clients give me their go. A week would be ideal. Sometimes that can turn into 2 weeks rather quickly, though. Do
you have any advice for homeowners, who are looking to sell their house? Anything they can do to make the transaction smoother or easier?
Absolutely. I think that they can update their information. Often they've been given, let's say they had a survey when they purchased the property and they've done work. Updating that survey would be key, because that could be a long pole in the process on the buy side. So updating that survey, going to the town and make sure everything that they've done has been permitted. They're often given bad advice by, whether it be contractors or whomever, landscape architects, that tell them they don't need permits for X work. And I think, truthfully, having that work in place for the seller's lawyer, and if I'm on the buy side, can really be helpful to expedite the deal.
As agents, we all talk about certain deal killers. You as an attorney, is there anything that you see over and over again happen that causes deals to go south?
Having the wrong parties involved in the transaction can often be a deal killer. I think our role as counsel is to present facts and let clients decide. But what I find is, too often in this process, people want to make decisions for others, and that backfires. So I think giving them the right information and having them decide, because real estate's a very emotional process for people. You have to go on their time frame sometimes, and if you push too far or too fast, that can be a deal killer. If you don't push hard enough, that can also be a deal killer. So there's this sort of happy medium as to making sure the deal is moving and keeping them informed of the process, but making sure you don't push too hard.